Hello, everybody. Before I present myself, the classic check. I see that people gets in. You have a chat depending where you are. On YouTube, it's somewhere over here. If you're on LinkedIn, it's somewhere nearly over there. If you just can tell me if you see me and if you hear me, that's the most important. And then I bring up the guest. I'm checking at the same time. But if somebody could double check with us, that would be definitely great. Hey, Kenny, seen in here? Then let's bring up the people over here. Here we go. Hello, gentlemen. Seems that everything is working. So maybe just before you all present yourself, just make noise and let me hear 5-on-5 from Zanzarax. Jasper, just make noise.
Hey, John.
Okay, I hear you.
Yeah,
Did you hear
that's
Jasper as well? Yannick, your turn.
Hey, John.
Yeah, but you have a bad connection because you're more blurry than Casper the Little Phantom, to be honest, on my screen. So I don't know, bad connection. François, how is it
Hi,
in
guys.
Corsica? And we hear you.
Yeah, cool. It's very good.
Cool. And you have the sun. Lovely. Thank you for being there, guys. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the people telling us that we're live. I already see that we are above 30, just as a little, no pressure, and guys, at all. 130 people that registered. They will probably not all be there. But just so you know, if I do stupid things today, it's just to entertain the place. If there are a lot of questions, I will need to interrupt you, although that we want to do slightly something different. The question about what we released, keep them short. The question about what we're going to ship, make them huge, because Jasper is expecting those today from you guys. Correct? Okay, let's go maybe directly into the motion, guys. I think that is, so we are conscious. I know we have a sharp timing. So roadmap Q4, you know it. Why do we do it 4 times a year? First of all, is to show you what has been shipped in Q3 and that is there and that you should use, give us feedback and all those things. And also what we're working on and that you should expect. When we say Q4, we still have a bit less than 90 days to ship it. So don't expect us to deliver it tomorrow to you, because otherwise those guys cannot sleep. And if they don't sleep, then we have bad code and we have a bad product. So keep in mind that is what we're working on. It's not ready. Just to emphasize that a little bit and reducing a bit the pressure. You know that we love data. I think that is one of the favorite figure of you, Jesper, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, sure. No, this is a very important one. So every quarter I update this number in this deck because customer feedback is one of the main deciders for us, of course, to come up with the roadmap in the next quarter. And you see the number every time wildly going up. So we use product boards to give you quick insight, where we collect all the feedback, whether it comes in directly through Luzmo or customer success or support tickets. And François, Yannick, and I process everything. We link it to features, to initiatives that we're planning. And it gives an insight in what we probably should build, but also when we start to work on a feature, it helps us to figure out, hey, who are the customers we can talk to co-develop a feature and get some first ideas.
I'm sad because it's only 1 a day. I was hoping at least 2 a day in submits. That would be lovely. Let's put ourselves a challenge. Dear audience, can you make this a 2 requests a day so that we're sure that those guys are feed enough about what you're expecting? Shouldn't that be a good target for our guys? With too much.
I'd love that. Would be very helpful.
You would love it? Okay, let's go for it. So yes, like I said, I think that is what I love the most in my job in SaaS is when you really put basically the roadmap in the hands of the users and the community. And the only way for us to know that, although that they spend quite a lot of time trying to interact with you, and if that's something you like, you should raise up your hand to say, hey guys, we want to talk with you, your product people. Otherwise, the good way is definitely push more tickets. You have the link so that we can move on. Again, conscious of the time, and it's drum-based time because we will have our amazing François, and François will talk about single sign-on, which was a promise that we made, and that one is live. Can you maybe build a little bit on single sign-on? I know that a lot of the people that listen to us are like very familiar with that word, but why should we care about single sign-on?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Jonathan. Single sign-on, it's very important for many customers, especially when you have an organization with a lot of teams or a lot of people, because it's very focused on security. So, and having your credentials centralized. in one place. So just, I don't want to read the slide. I will just show you what we are talking about. And we released a few weeks ago already SSO. So if you are if you want to use it, you can go to your organization. Do you see my screen, Jonathan?
Here you go.
Okay, cool.
Now it's live. I just switched
Thanks.
it.
So now in your organization page, you have SSO settings, and you can set all the details to make it work. So it's don't worry, it's not very complicated. It's quite straightforward. We have a lot of documentation. We have academic articles to explain how you can set and where you can find all these details, and we have also guides, especially on Entra and Okta. So Entra ID and Okta. SSO, just as a reminder, our release is working with all OIDC protocol platform. So if your platform is using OIDC, let us know also, and we will try to add a guide or reach out to us. We can help you to connect. And yes, so again, as a reminder, it's very important if you are using your security and the credentials of your company across multiple tools like Slack, Gmails, and everything is centralized. Now with Luzmo, you can also centralize your authentication by adding your SSO tool.
Francois, maybe just to elaborate, and so maybe that people will play the game to answer my question that I was just pushing over here, how important it is for them. In my opinion, SSO is only for enterprise clients. Am I right or am I wrong about that?
So it's maybe first for enterprise clients because I would say it has more power when you have a lot of users. So here again is something I want to just it's written on the slide, but it's available. It's available for logging in your Luzmo application. So it's not about your embedded users. So if you have a lot of people authenticating in Luzmo, it has a lot of value because instead of managing all the credentials only in Luzmo, you can manage that in your centralized and secured and IT-proofed application. So the Okta, Entra, whatever it is. So yes, again, it's mostly for enterprise, but we are seeing now more and more also SMBs working with SSO because it's more convenient and it's again more secured.
Thank you, Elko and Craig. They said it's a lot, so very important and somewhat. Would be curious to know if those are enterprise client. Maybe just a use case, just to make it really crystal clear for the people. And correct me if I say something wrong about this, Francois. Somebody leaves an organization. If you block it from that end, it would basically automatically block that people as well in Luzmo, for example. That would be a good use case.
That's a very good use case. So that's the idea. Our first iteration is not automatically doing that, but indeed that's something we have also planned to support.
Yeah, because that's like, for me, the classic story from what I know from my previous life, you know, that lovely Excel sheet where they say tool A and user, and then those people leave and basically they do a reset, they change their account and they can still use platform. It's pretty cool not to pay Adobe, to be honest, sometimes can be useful. But yes, okay, I had the good use case, so I feel good. Thank you, Jesse, as well for answering. So guys, just on 3 people out of more than 70 people that are online at the moment, nobody said it's useless. So guys, you shipped something useful for the users. Okay, let's move to the second one then. That's a tricky one for me, Francois. That's a tricky one for me. So
why? Why, Jonathan?
I don't know. For me, it's still strange in the actual world to think about exporting data. You know, for me, that's if we talk security, for example, for me, that's the major risk of any kind of data leak potentially when you start exporting from your platform.
So,
but it's maybe a personal impact, huh? But so I would
no. First, that's a very valid point. And just to ensure that we are talking about security as well here, our feature, the live file export, it's following all the security process we have on Luzmo for other features. So it's secured. The export will be also secured. What does it mean? Just to very quickly, and then I will go back to the why it's important. Live file export is for regular tables. When you are using tables, you can have millions of rows. It's possible. I mean, many of our customers they have millions of rows. And then you can have a lot of columns. So the table can be very large. And both large and large. So when it's large and you want to export the underlying data, what is happening? If you are doing that in your browser, it will crash because it's too big and the browser can't handle it. So what we did is that we are doing that asynchronously. Instead of providing you a file or trying to provide you a file synchronously, we will send you a file to an address email. So you will get to your email address the file secured, and you will be able to download it. So that's as simple as it is. So it's great. Why also? Because I agree with you. It's weird to talk about export, but in real life for our customers, very often they have to do audits. They have to do things offline. So they have to have the data. And that's why they're asking us, but why we can't download everything? What we can download a very big tables. So now what is amazing is that they can. And just by exporting the entire table, they can do audits or anything for compliance or offline work, basically, and use that very, very easily.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, it's just for me that notion of export, but I 100% get you. I think sometimes you need to crunch data, and you don't need an application for that, and you want to use your own set of tools like a business intelligence local tool or something like that. But I agree with you. I think it was a necessity, and I think Jesper can probably double down on that. I think that's one of the biggest and most pushed up requests that we had in the last months as well about our end users. So again, it's not because I'm not convinced if the market asks for it, but I think yes.
No, it's not. It's indeed not just the last months, but it's a request we've had for a long time, steadily climbing also in counts in user feedback, if you would say it like that. And I remember a few years ago, maybe we thought, hey, we're in the visualization. We wanted to help you get insights. If when you need to export millions of rows of data, then apparently we don't do our job right. So we don't want to solve that. But we came around from that because there are a lot of good use cases where you want to get your data out of the system and do some other things with it, like Francois mentioned. So this is one of the features that indeed was requested and we delivered. And probably somewhere in the future we do more on export options as well.
And there is one thing that I kind of like about that for me, as a buyer and not the marketeer at Luzmo, it's also for me a way to show that we don't try to lock in any clients. Basically, it's their data, so they can always export the data. I think that's also a sign that we give that we don't try to play, dirty games. Like we don't give you this so that you need to stay with us. I think that's also, in my opinion, a very valid point about why you want to export data as well. It's you don't want to give.
It's an option, right? So when you embed in dashboards, you can choose to enable downloads. You can also disable it. So it's what works for your users and how you want it to work.
Lovely. Let me maybe, I know that we didn't want lots of questions, but I think this one, it's pretty decent. And I think Francois already saw it in the side because he has access to the batch, which you cannot see your users. But I think that one is a very good question. So I'll let you read the question and answer the question.
So is it going to be a raw export?
I think it's more about the encryption.
Yeah, so about the encryption, it's secure, so we'll have the data are encrypted, and they are also we are applying the different security levels. So we are using for other features, and you need also a valid token to access it. So you can't access the file without a valid token here. So about accessing it, about uploading it through exporting it through SFTP, that's a very cool feature request. Here we come back to what Jesper showed to add to the roadmap. That's definitely a very, very good idea, very valid. So feel free to post it on the roadmap, and we will check how we can do that.
Cool, Sergey, I hope it answered. Quickly, the last one, and promise then we move to the next one. Is there a limit on asynchronous export? I think it's probably in the Academy article, but I don't have the link just under the tip of a finger. I don't know if it's part of it.
Yeah, there is a limit between synchronous and asynchronous. Right now is 700,000 cells. So we are counting in cells. Again, I showed you cells, it's number of columns through number of rows. So if you have more than 700,000 cells, the performance on your browser is not very good. So you move to the export to asynchronous.
Okay.
And yes, so if you have more questions, also feel free to check the Academy articles. There are a lot of answers there. And otherwise, you can obviously reach out to
So,
get
Francois,
back.
To the question, is there a limit then on the asynchronous export?
The up limit. No, not right now. We don't have. We have a limit. So there are limits. For instance, Excel doesn't handle more than 1 million rows.
Oh.
So it doesn't work with more than 1 million rows. So if you have more than 1 million rows, it will not be usable in Excel. But for us on our side, you can export the entire table.
Sounds like a plan. So large export already, guys. You can use it. You shouldn't abuse it, and always pay attention to security. Totally something else. And the guy just had a little bit of water because he knows it's his time, and he know that I was
from my Luzmo bottle.
From your Luzmo bottle. Jasper, what do you think is one of the most used feature in Google Analytics?
To be honest, I wouldn't know. But since you're asking me this question at this point, it's probably period comparisons in their dashboard.
Okay, here you go. That was the best intro I could give you, man.
Yeah, well, it's a good intro because for this feature, we did look at Google Analytics to get some inspiration, not because it's like a direct competitor of us, but we know it's a product that a lot of our customers and some end users use. But yeah, we released variable period over period, which is a feature that adds on top of period comparisons you could already make. But what you could do before was things like compare this period against the same period last year or the same period last quarter. And you couldn't really be more flexible in that shift of quarter or year or number of days. So we created a new widget, and I'd like to demo that and just show. So if you can move to that.
Beam.
I'll go into that mode. Yeah. You see the new widget on the top here, which we call the date comparison filter. That allows dashboard users to compare two periods that are completely variable. So any number of days against any number of days or weeks or quarters, depending on your date level. So I'm looking here at a chart with usage data, Luzmo usage data. And you see that in the last days before a roadmap webinar, we see that the number of users spike up. But we never really have the roadmap webinar at except the same point in a quarter. It's always like a week earlier, a week later, it's Thursday or Tuesday, so that differs. So if I want to compare this to the usage numbers around the roadmap webinar last quarter, I can do that here as a user, and I need to make sure that I select the right dates here, which was in June, or started in June. And the webinar itself was the 2nd of July. So I'm going to select the 3 days up to that roadmap webinar and compare it here. So also with the 3 days up to what we have now. And now I can compare these two periods of usage numbers against each other. So we see that we have a bigger user spike this time than last quarter. You can do a lot of more fun stuff with this. For example, quickly switch to another tab. Something I really like is actually comparing data across categories, which is something that's also new, also for the other period comparison options. You can now do this comparison over categories, not just over time, like I just did before. So I can pick any other date here in an e-commerce data set. I'll just pick a week and I can compare units sold of my last week against a comparison of another week across periods and see what outperforms or underperformed compared to that other event.
It's really interesting what you do. You always compare a period to another period. What I'm always doing when I use period against period, I use the period versus the same period the year before to see how I was evolving. You know, it's like my classic usage, I would say. But so it's funny to see that you take really a blog versus a same blog within a year, where I compare a period of 2015, 2025 against 2024. That's one of my most common usage, I would say. From a Google Analytics perspective, you would see like summer versus summer, for example. But so I think it's a good way to see other examples. I kind of really like that.
Yeah, so like the most common use case still is what we already supported are comparisons where you compare, for example, this quarter against the same quarter last year, or this month against the same month last year. But that's a fixed offset. You shift your comparison by a year or by whatever fixed time period, and your dashboard user cannot control that. And it doesn't work for things like some actual cases that we discussed with customers are there's a congress and you have a product around hotel bookings, and that event that's not always happening. It might happen in the same month, but not exactly in the same weekend and the same date. So if you want to compare your metrics of that event against the same event last year, your users need to be able to really pinpoint that weekend or that event time.
Makes sense. Here we go. I'm conscious about time, and so you're lucky, Jesper, because you will sweat a little bit less than what I was hoping to do. But otherwise, Yannick will tell me, John, we're not here for 2 hours, and which would be right as well. So just so the audience know, I wanted Jesper to define every word that looks like a buzzword from this slide. So agent, API, workflow, Luzmo IQ. But I think it will be a bit tough to do it that way. So I will let you really get us up to speed with all the information that you put in this slide. So make sure that we are all excited and that we all understand it.
It's a dangerous area, all these AI buzzwords, because it seems like what changes every few months. We don't try to reinvent the wheel. We aligned our terminology against or with what OpenAI is using. To make sure that it's what a lot of people are already using or familiar with. But this is fresh off the press. We released this yesterday. A lot of the release messaging still has to go out to you. But basically, we already had quite a few AI capabilities, and a lot of that was packed in our product Luzmo IQ, which is kind of a data analyst that can do a lot of different things to answer a data question with a chart and a written answer. But we took the step now to break out all these little AI capabilities into individual APIs. So all the black blocks you see here, creating a data set, column descriptions, or finding relevant data sets or columns, or creating a formula, searching for relevant data sets, or kind of a semantic search. All these things are now individual APIs that you as a customer have access to and can reuse. So if you're building your own AI automations, workflows, AI features, and that feature needs some kind of data capability, have a look at these, and you can use them to power that step in your own workflow. And to come a bit, John, then to the terminology, because I can try to make it quick and hope it doesn't spark too much discussion.
The audience is kind, because I tried to ask them which word you should.
Yeah, I see it.
Basically, but they are really kind because they didn't jump on it. If I was in the audience, man, I would have used them all.
So the agents in this case are very focused steps, very focused tasks. So generating a query, it's one task that agent has that AI is going to solve. It takes a prompt, and it turns that prompt into a query that you can use in Luzmo to run a query on a query engine and pull data. It doesn't do more than that. It only has that task. When you go to workflow, you want to do something bigger. Like Luzmo IQ takes a whole bunch of steps to try to answer a question you have around your data or a dashboard. So once you start linking these agents with more logic on top, then we call it the workflow, but then it's very focused. We call it an agent. And all the agents you see here are accessible through our API. So if you want to use them yourself, like we do for Luzmo IQ, then you can.
Okay, you did good, man. But I was reading the slide at the same time that you were explaining, and yeah, okay, complex things where there is multitask versus a single task, and all that always with an API because we love tech people.
Yeah,
Sounds like
and
a plan?
we still have our API first approach. I see like products like Luzmo IQ are great because it gives you an out of the box, super powerful AI feature for your customers. But we also see that more and more of our customers are building their own custom workflows that are not only about data, but where data is just one of the capabilities that feature needs to handle. And in those cases, use Luzmo for the data capabilities, use your own setup and maybe other third parties for other capabilities, and you can mix and match it thanks to the APIs.
Really curious to see the use cases that the people will come up with. And if you have ideas of use cases that we should show you, use the chat again. That's why it's meant also, so we can inspire you maybe with a couple of things. Conscious of time, other things that you all guys have been working and not sleeping to please our customers. Go for it.
Yeah, I'd say just if you see something here that you're interested in and haven't found yet, give our academy a search or reach out to your CS. There's more if you released smaller improvements that are not even on this slide. But if you see something interesting here and you have a question, reach out.
Okay. Ta-ta-ta. Now is burning time for Jasper. That is where you can really make him sweat because I've been kind with him. So he doesn't, he's happy about it. So now you need to really make him sweat because he has his bottle of water from Luzmo. So he really needs to drink it entirely at the end of the session. I know that you want to talk about pillars or not?
Yeah, let's do that quick. Unfortunately, I don't have to do this part alone either. Thanks to François and Yannick. But we started the year with these 3 product pillars. They came back every quarter when we did this webinar. We've been doing a lot in building data products. That's basic analytics features, but also more advanced with Flex, for example. We've been doing things at success at scale, helping the larger companies and enterprise companies among our customers. And if I'm being honest, we haven't really left that fully to the middle pillar, AI. Like we've been improving Luzmo IQ, done some steps there. But we decided that we really need to double down on that second pillar to make this year complete and make it a good year. So that's what you will see coming up. So without going too deep in each feature, because we'll cover them deeper, these are the 4 features that you see in the blue purple blocks that we promise you we will deliver this year, and also would love to work with you on if you have feedback on it or ideas for it. So these are the 4 mainly AI pillar focused features that the teams are going to work on. First up, we have big plans for the Luzmo Studio. Second, we see that whatever you build with AI, that good data quality is still one of the main deciders of a good AI feature and good quality as output. So we're going to build something interesting to help you there. Then Luzmo IQ, like I said, is a very powerful tool that helps you to answer data questions, a data assistant for your users. But we also know it can be much better and it can be a lot more powerful. So we have plans for that. And then lastly, we don't want to forget our dashboards. We got a lot of feedback on some demos that we already have live where we provide summaries of a dashboard. And we want to make that a first native feature of our dashboard where you have a widget that will automatically summarize a dashboard for your user.
Transition, here we go. François, your turn again, man. The guy he prepared the floor for you. I'm like the timekeeper over here today.
Thanks, Jonah. So we start with the metadata audit. So it seems a bit cryptic as a name, but it's part of all our AI efforts. And we start with why we are doing it. Then I will show you very briefly something. But data preparation is critical. Having your data ready, it has always been. critical in analytics. But now with AI, it's even not just more important. It's just you can't use AI features without very good data quality. And just why? Because if you're asking, or if AI is trying to answer a question, and the answer of the question is from data not really clean, the result will not be as good as you expect. So it's very, I would say, on the top of the funnel if you are looking at the AI focus, but it's really critical. So, but just to show you what we'll do and how it will look. Sometimes,
François, I need to say something. You just said, and I will be rude because I love to do that sometimes.
Go.
You telling me shit in, shit out? Is that what you're telling me?
Indeed, but that's the case, especially the case with AI, because everyone is sometimes complaining about the quality of the responses or the trust. Can you trust the responses? And how you can trust a response if the quality on top of your dataset is not as good as it should be. So that's just
100% agree. 100% agree.
Cool.
But that's why I think, and sometimes we have a tendency to forget that if you feed bad the machine, you cannot expect gold at the outside. And that's why it was rude, because then sometimes people think back. But at the end, we get blamed for something that we cannot fix by magic. Although
yes.
François got stuff to fix it.
Yes, so now that's what we want to do. I explained why it's important, and here it's basically what I showed you here is a data set. I mean, you have if you are using Luzmo, you are used to this data set, and as you can see, I'm not sure it's very clear on the screen. You have the names of the columns here, for instance. So you can see that the names of the columns are not very clear. They are even cryptic. I don't know if we can zoom or if I can zoom myself.
We can see it fine,
better. Is it better now? So basically, here you can see that this column, cust fn text, doesn't mean anything. Cust n names or mayref. I mean, if you're asking a question and AI or an LLM will check a column like this one, it's not very clear what will be the output. So it happens very often. Our customers are spending a lot of time to make very good data, but sometimes you don't have time. You are using a data set not really ready for that, an operational database. So sometimes you don't have a very good quality, and then, like you said, the output is not as good as it should be. And here an example with a name, an example with an amount here. Here we have an amount of something. And as you can see, it's a numeric. So yes, I have 87, that's cool. But what does it mean? Amount, 87, it's not really clear. If you're asking what is the amount of something, it will maybe provide, I don't know, kilograms, whatever. What we want to do automatically is to switch to better already names. We worked with AI, we tried to improve, and we detected issues with some columns names, and we are suggesting improvements. Like instead of customer FN something, you have a customer first name is clearer. And if it's clearer for you, it's clearer for AI. And the same, if we can, for instance, identify that amount is an amount of dollars, we can already, or euros in this case, we can already apply this change of type from numeric to currency automatically. Then when you're asking a question to AI, it will answer with a proper response. So that's quite simple. But what is, like you said, a bit magical is that we do that automatically. That's it. I don't want to. If you
I love it. Yeah, go ahead,
John, if I may add, like these might seem like obvious examples, but imagine we have customers with many data sets and then data sets localized in many different languages, and it really gets tough to keep that all up to date and clear and have descriptions and all the types set.
You know, I think you guys, because your technical profile, you see it as not like amazing and like we have to deliver that. I think the explanation that Francois gave make I hope people think a little bit further, because CST, QEST, knowing that it's customer, how do you want or expect the machine to understand that? And I think that's what I kind of liked about the presentation. And you know what I'm always saying? I know that a lot of people see AI as the thing that will get us all like without a job. That is where I see a good usage again of AI that empower end user, but that will not ease his job because he will still be the guy that operated at the end. So it's empowering the user, I think, with an AI layer that do make sense and to structure and inform better the engine. So I see this as a very core element in everything we try to propose. How do you want to give good insight if you cannot query the data in a proper way? So for me, those are core features. And I'm not sure that everybody in the landscape of the embedded analytics like us has the same approach towards that. You know, I think that's also what we try to make the people understand over here. We want to make their life easier, but also give them the right set of tools to be able to perform at the highest level in their job. And I think that's what we show with this kind of metadata and the AI layer on it. At least personal opinion. Would love to hear the comment of our audience, of course, about it. But yes, sure. Let's move on.
Yes, I'm still here, John. So this one
Yeah,
is.
but you're on the. You look good now, so you probably changed Wi-Fi connection because now you're crisp. And wait, just before, so that everybody see, isn't that guy crisp? Come on. Now I bring the slides back.
Yeah, so this one is a very interesting update to our dashboard editor, Luzmo Studio. So if you're a Luzmo user, you have probably at some point spent some or a lot of time in our dashboard editor. It's a very important product. And let's be honest, it can be quite time consuming to create a good dashboard with many charts. To fine-tune the options, to define interactivity, to manage different languages, etc. It can be very time-consuming if you have to do it for many dashboards. And what we really want to target here is to reduce the time you need to spend on building a good dashboard. So sounds good, right? How do we want to do that? By offering AI-powered workflows where you can basically build and edit dashboards through natural language, just by describing which datasets you want to use and what you want to visualize in your dashboards. So here on the slide, on the screenshot, you can basically see how that would look. You have the standard studio interface, but on the left side, you have a conversational chat interface. So a few things are important there. We want you to stay in control. So we don't want this to be the only way to build dashboards. So you can at any time switch between AI-guided creation and the classic settings menus and drag and drop. So it's up to you which way of working you prefer. And we also think it's important to be transparent. So we don't want to build a black box AI system. We want every AI action to be visible and reversible so that you don't have to be afraid that you ask for something and it destroys your dashboard. You can always go back to a previous state. But really important here is the main benefit is that you will save a huge amount of time when creating a dashboard when starting from scratch. And last to highlight, but very important, is that this will also be built into the embedded dashboard editor, so the embedded Luzmo Studio, where you offer your users the option to create dashboards. So this AI-first way of working will also be included in the embedded dashboard editor, so that your users can also create dashboards effortlessly without dealing with UI or data model complexity.
The audience is
So I
really
think this is
quiet. Yannick, question for you. I know that we are building that. I saw some stuff like leaking in our Slack that I will not share, promise. Otherwise, you will be mad at me. Will the people be able to experiment that in our trial at the moment in time?
Yes,
that's the
of
purpose.
course. So
Okay.
once we launch this, this is by default available in the trial experience as well.
Connie, you hear it, huh? So Connie is the lady that makes this happen every quarter, by the way. So she's in the backstage. So she hears you, man. So now we will have to ship it, huh? For Q1. Everybody want to play with that. Huh? No, great stuff.
Good to
I
hear.
think, again, a good way to see where AI can bring more value, I would say, to something instead of always thinking like a revolution. I see this as the upgrades that we are in. I'm more and more convinced that it's an empowerer than anything else at the end. So yes, and the little clips that I saw are pretty slick and sick, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. I think step by step, people are getting more and more used to creating things through natural language. I see it with myself as well. So I think building dashboards is a logical next evolution of that, and will save you a huge amount of time where you don't have to navigate the complexity.
Yes, let me make 2 seconds here. Here, some promotion for Yannick. So you put pressure and you ask that guy to make micro videos on his personal LinkedIn with 10 to 15 seconds as long as he's developing, so that I see those clips appearing. He's really good at it, by the way. So you should connect with him, and then you send in a little DM and say, I want to see that AI transformation in the dashboard happening. So I'm sure that Yannick will make a couple of videos for us. That was pressure time is on, but he's used to it now, so it's not fun anymore. Move on. Dashboard summary.
All right. AI dashboard summary. So I already quickly introduced this, but let's walk one step back, John, because why actually do we have dashboards? No, not the slides, but in the thought process, I meant.
Okay.
Why do we have dashboards and visualizations? It's to get insights from data, right? Like you don't want to just put up a big table with the 7 million cells that Francois talked about. It can be useful as export, but just to present that to get an insight and expect your user to get an insight from that, that doesn't work. So that's why dashboards exist. That's why data visualizations exist. But then we see that dashboards still can become so elaborate because there are a lot of metrics that you might want to keep track of, that again, it becomes tricky to figure out, okay, I now have 10 important metrics, 20 slides, or 20 visualizations. What should I look at? And that's what we aim to solve with the dashboard summaries. It's like a quick executive summary, a few lines of text telling you what's happening in your data on your dashboard. And maybe by reading the summary, you can already figure out, okay, I can skip the first 3 charts, and I need to jump into something that spikes or something that is mentioned there.
Is it speed, basically? Is it partially speed and being able to go faster? It's a bit that as well?
As a consumer of the dashboard, so yeah, as a consumer of the dashboard, this should help you to get that insight that's important to you faster, to spend fewer time figuring out what to look at and spend more time actually doing something useful with your data or acting on the decision.
Makes sense. Cool. There was no demonstration, and if people want to see this, but I know that we still have it in some kind of demo app. But you told me that we have more to tell.
Yeah, no, let's just share, John. Like we have our demo app. That's also where the screenshot comes from, where you already see that working. But what we're building is a more elaborate summary that will work in the dashboard editor that Yannick showed. You can add it as an item, like you would add a chart or a filter. And it would automatically take the dashboard that you're building into context. So we're going to make it a true, as you could call it, first-class citizen among our charts and filters.
You know what I love about technology and the fact that we are live? Yannick is there, Yannick is not there. Yannick is there, Yannick is not there. The poor guy, he must be like really pissed about the internet. Okay, this is for you as well, Jasper. So I'm happy because he didn't crash on his part, so I feel safe. So
no.
You talk about Luzmo IQ, and now you talk about Luzmo 2.0. Did you make a little brother of the first one, or what's the idea?
No, it's a second version of Luzmo IQ. Like I said, this is a powerful product, but there are definitely cases where we feel it should be able to do better. Also, a lot of the tools and capabilities, not just the models, but the patterns around how you can build AI tools have changed. And we're actually already in the progress of building that Luzmo IQ 2.0. What you can expect from that, it will be faster. And if you're a user already or a customer already, you should notice the first improvement already today with the release we did this week. But we're going to make it even more faster, much faster. We're going to make sure that it's more accurate. There are better ways to do it now. And also use AI better for what it's good at, like making plans, deciding what step to take next, and using everything we already have in Luzmo to make sure that things stay consistent and AI as guardrails. So I can dive into deep technical explanations about everything that we're now changing under the hood. But a short summary is, if it's about guardrails like we're querying data, we want to make sure that a number that's presented is a real number that's not hallucinated, that exists in your data set with the right calculation, the right formula behind it. All of that is something that we can already do with our query engine, our access control layer, and we're going to make more use of that while giving the AI more power to decide, hey, I didn't really get the data back that helps me answer that question. So I'm going to take another step before I go back to the user. I'm going to ask the user for some input. So under the hood, a lot is going to change to make the tool we currently have more powerful and helps your users to answer more questions faster.
Folks, I give it one more time, because he said if you want to go in some kind of discussion where I don't understand a lot, his LinkedIn account is there. That guy is present. Although he doesn't share enough yet, he is always on. So feel free to ask him a lot of questions around it. He loves that. So enjoy it. And yes, to Burakan, of course, that you will not have the same issues that what we have with images. It's a person that I know also personally, where he said when you use image generator, most of the time you just want to tweak one element of the picture. And you would say change that bubble in blue, and your entire design is becoming blue. From what I saw on the slide, because again, that is in the making, it's not ready to be consumed by you yet. I saw things where you just change a single piece of the graphic without interfering with the entire design of the chart or the dashboard, of course. Q&A? Look, guys, 47 minutes. I think we all deserve a medal. I didn't reach the hour because everybody was scared that we went for an hour, and I was pretty excited about it. Jasper, you're lucky that you put me the pressure because you didn't have to make all those definitions. Otherwise, we would have been at an hour. So I want to say a huge thank you. I think that there is a lot of value in what we have been shipping. I would love to have feedback from the audience as well about how we present the roadmap, because there are a lot of internal discussions. Should we only focus on what is coming? Should we maintain that balance between what we have been shipping in the first quarter that can help? Yes, that is definitely recorded, Kenny. You will have it ACP because we have the magic Connie, which is always like a machine behind us. And so, yes, I will say in probably 24, 48 hours you have access. But so also give us feedback about the format, about if this is okay. There is also something where I would like to have some pressure on Francois, because I put a lot of pressure always on my friend Jasper, is with Francois, we did an amazing thing in Paris. It was an event where we did a workshop. And in that workshop, we kind of interact with that data set. I will not be rude anymore. So that you could improve your data before loading it at our end, and that you could use AI at its maximum power and have a summary about that data. If that is something that, because it was a really small group that we did it, if the chat or the people that see this replay reach out to us and say, yes, we want it, I will build a deck with Francois where you could basically run that workshop yourself in your company. And it's a promise that I made, and I know that Francois will be my wingman to deliver that if we have to. And so again, I would say, people, if those are the kind of things that you would like us to see moving to, make some noise, like they say in my country, and I will make sure to make it happen for sure. And maybe last but not least, I will just repush this. Otherwise, Connie will be really mad at me. We need reviews. Guys, I need you to say that with me. We need reviews. Honestly, and it's not a joke. I'm a sales guy stuck in marketing. Everybody knows that by now. Reviews is the core of what feed a lot the LLMs, and when we do AI research, it's also a very good way for us to hear sometime the hard truth that you don't want to share us directly, but that through those platforms you can share and be a bit more spicy with us. Again, we love good feedback. We love also when we don't do good. If you could take, and I know it takes time, it's probably between 5 to 7 minutes to fill in a review on G2 or Capterra about your experience with Luzmo. you would help us to be more visible, and we would be thankful for ages for that. But it's also a good way to make your voice stand out in the worldwide internet. So if you can take a little bit of time for that, that would be really great and highly appreciate. We put ourselves not a target, but I think something totally crazy to collect about 100 with Connie by the end of the year. So it's a pretty hard one to reach. So if already I see that we're with 50 plus still online, if even 50% do that, I have already 25% of my target. And then Connie will be happy because I've been pushing very hard during the webinar. And I know also that guys like Francois and Jasper, they read those reviews. It's important for them to understand what is behind it. What do you want? What do you need? And again, another way again to communicate with us. And as a last one, what is happening next week, guys? And they were not aware that I was going to ask that question. So I love the eyes of Jasper, like, what is this guy doing again? What is happening very soon for Luzmo?
Are you asking us,
And we
John, or
and we will have a double digit.
Oh yeah.
If I do this. Oh yes, guys. So Luzmo
Yes.
is nearly getting 10 years old. So it means that we're getting from the single digit to the double digits. At the origin, we were looking to do like an internal party. And at the moment in time, we said, but why the hell should we do an internal party? So we're doing an open party now. So that means that everybody from client to prospects to partners that are willing to join us in Leuven, they can just go on the website, go to event, read this URL, subscribe. You will have a place you can discuss with Jasper, with myself. I don't think that Francois is also present, not sure anymore, but could be. And if there are a lot of people willing to talk to Francois, I buy the plane ticket and we get him in Leuven. Don't worry, that's not a problem. He's used to that dropping in a plane now because I need him. So again, we will do that. It would be lovely if you want to join. Again, everybody is welcome for that as well. Happy birthday. Thank you, Kenny. Karel and Arun will be very pleased with that. And I think a decade, guys, in the world of SaaS, it's, I think, pretty good. Thank you for the kind words, Greg. I'm just the moderator. If the quality is good, it's because of those guys ship so much stuff and have so much knowledge, and because you're present with us, guys. Let's keep it that way. I want to say a huge thank you again to you, Francois, Jasper, Connie, as again, you're the shadow lady, but without you, we wouldn't be there. And let's hope that Yannick found a good Wi-Fi connection to still be able to commit some stuff in the GitHub and those kind of things, because otherwise we will be a bit late on our Q4 roadmap. The guy.
No, we won't.
Have a lovely afternoon. Thank you, the audience. See you very soon. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.